And we are live. What's up, y'all? How you guys doing? I hope you're all having an absolutely amazing Thursday evening. Listen, y'all are not going to want to miss this one. If you're watching this right now and it's like a replay or whatever, you want to stop real quick because what you're about to hear is going to literally transform your journey as a pre-PT. I'm being for real. But for those of y'all that are new to our group, welcome to the Pre-Doctor Physical Therapy Students family. Just making sure we're good here. Natalie, great to see you. Kyle, great to see you as well. And for everyone else that will be joining us here in the next few moments, just welcome. Like, what else is there to say? My name is Joseph. I am one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind, and our job is to get y'all into PT school. That's what we do, right, Gail?
Hell yeah.
That is what we do. So what this is this. So you guys are going to be hearing from one of our accepted system winners, Gail. She's an accepted system coach, accepted system alumni, all that other stuff. But she's going to be sharing her story tonight. And this is episode 11 of what we've called the Pre-PT Inspire series. And what that means is it's a series to inspire you as a pre-PT. Pretty simple, right? But really what we've done is we've taken students from our accepted system core, training program, coaching program, whatever you want to call it. And we've brought them in to share their experience from whatever their struggles were up until acceptance. Now for Gail, you'll hear, and I'm sure you saw it in the write-up above, got rejected, 15 schools plus, so that's a teaser, but for real, y'all, like, I just want y'all to see what's possible when you are able to step back and say, shoot, my situation is not impossible. Like for most students, if they were in Gail's shoes a year ago, they would have been like, well, guess this is not for me. So what I want you guys to do is just to sit back, relax, enjoy, listen to Gail's experience and story. Let her inspire the hell out of you. But for those of y'all that are live, would y'all mind just commenting #team live or #team replay? The only reason for that is because when y'all comment, like the more y'all are commenting throughout the live or the replay, the more this video gets pushed up. And I want this story to inspire a lot of people. So if you are live right now, if you're on replay, just comment something. #team live, #team replay, comment hi, whatever you want to comment. But Gail, before we started, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to be here. I've been waiting for this day. I love inspiring and talking to all the pre-PTs, so I'm super excited.
Yo, I told Gail this not too long ago, and I said it again tonight. Y'all, this is an interview that I've been waiting to have for a long time. What I mean by that is like after hearing where Gail was last cycle, I was like, yo, I can't wait for this girl to get in because her story is going to absolutely, single-handedly, her story is going to transform so many pre-PTs perspectives that I was like, I just need this girl to keep pushing so that she can get herself into PT school and that we can come back and inspire the hell out of people. So y'all are in for a ride. Gail, let's serve the people. We have Natalie, we have Leah. Great to see you, Leah. We have Trey Miles, Kyle Wong, Joy Winters. What's up, Dr. Joy? We have Glenn, Dr. Casey Coleman, the one and only. Audrey, what's up? Great to have every single one of y'all. And as you guys are hopping on, just comment below. But Gail, let's have some fun. You ready to inspire some people?
100%.
Let's do it. Well, Gail, now they've probably read a little bit about what the kind of black part of your application cycle, a year ago. But let's start at the beginning. What drew you to physical therapy? Just kind of tell it all. But we just want to know where you started. Like, why physical therapy? Why was this something that, even through your struggles that we'll talk about in just a little bit, you still felt it was worth it to keep pushing through because you had fallen in love with PT as a whole? Why PT? How did that start before we dive into everything else?
Yeah, so the first cycle that I applied leading up to that, I was mainly attracted to physical therapy because I knew I wanted to do something in medicine and healthcare. I wanted to help other people pretty much. And the thing with physical therapy is just you're on your feet, you're active, you're not sitting behind a desk. You're you get to spend more time with patients too most of the time. And so that's kind of initially what drew me to physical therapy. And then over the years, like that has definitely changed. Being exposed to different types of therapy, that there's more than outpatient orthopedics, there's more than inpatient, like there's the cash PT, hybrid between cash and insurance, gym PTs, people are doing concierge. So just the very large variety and like the ability to help literally any type of person, like no matter what they do, like whether they sit behind a desk or they're like a super active person or like they're an Olympic level athlete. So that's definitely the stuff that drew me to physical therapy. And then even more recently, with my experience with having a therapist who treated me, or I had a therapist that treated me like crap after my really major elbow surgery I had a little over a year ago, and then transitioning into a new therapist because my original one moved, and then they treated me like crap and they just didn't care about my sport or anything that I did. They're like, you can do your daily activities, you're fine, you can leave. I'm like, cool, I have all this pain that you're too lazy to help me with. So that has given me even more motivation to like be a better physical therapist and really dive into athletes and athletes with injuries if I can, just because when you're at that level, whether you're just a super active person like me or you're an elite level athlete, your sport and your activity it's your day-to-day activities. So this full, like, you have range of motion and you can do your daily things is crap, because if you can't do your sport when you're at that level, then you can't do your day-to-day activities.
It's interesting. It's interesting. So you're like, I mean, one, I'm really glad you kind of touched up on that a little bit because the honest truth is, guys, like as physical therapists, it's just like Gail said, like we have the ability to like literally change a life. Like not just, hey, well, you can move your arm, that's great. I mean, for some people that might be it, but for Gail, she's an athlete. So for her, she was like, this isn't like it. Like I need someone that is able to really push me through. So Gail, I'm glad you touched up on that. I'm actually glad that did not take away your passion. Like I'm glad that it actually fueled it, because it can actually turn the other way sometimes, where you could be like, oh, well, like why would I be a PT if this is my experience? So I'm glad that you actually turned it into something positive, and you're going to be amazing. But let's now dive into the stuff that just was not as fun. So on your journey, after you had said, yo, like and you've had a few moments that have kind of solidified your love for PT throughout, but once you knew this was what you wanted to do, like what was your biggest struggle? Like what was your biggest obstacle, your biggest fears on this journey, like prior to getting to where you are right now, which we know is a good place, but what were your biggest obstacles, frustrations, struggles throughout? Talk to us about all of it, like bad, ugly, mainly because I don't want us to sugarcoat anything.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to, because there's way too many pre-PTs right now. We have Abby. What's up, Abby? We have Taylor. We have Greg, Spencer. Great to have you all here. But the biggest thing is, like, I don't want us to sugarcoat it, because if we're sugarcoating it, then we're doing people a disservice, right? Because they might be going through those same things right now. So talk to us about it, and then we'll start transitioning into like how you actually fix that and what helped you get accepted into PT school. Tell us.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I don't know how to sugarcoat things. So my first time I applied to physical therapy schools, the first cycle, it was like part of my senior year. So I guess like the summer before my senior year of college ended. And really when I applied that year, like I feel like I didn't really have too many worries. Like I was worried about my GRE, because it wasn't quite at that minimum level, but I had also applied to schools that didn't have that minimum GRE. So for me, like I was still kind of like just shooting in the dark. I was unsure. I was just crossing my fingers that like the more PT schools I applied to, I would at least get one acceptance, which was false. Like that didn't happen. And I had, even then when I applied, I had a pretty decent GPA. So when I got rejected from those 15 plus schools at first cycle, after like people too being like, oh, like you'll be fine, like you'll get in, like your GPA isn't crap. I was kind of like, oh, like what am I supposed to do now? Because especially with my family, it's very like, oh, like if you didn't get in the first time, what makes you think you'll get in like the second time? Like that's kind of like their mentality. It's kind of like, and like they've gotten better over the years, but it's kind of like that's just kind of how they are, and like it makes sense because like that's kind of how everyone has been.
Like, why waste your time doing it again? Like, it
Right.
might just okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, why waste your time and why waste the money? Because like I mean the stuff is expensive. So then after I was rejected from those schools, like no wait list, no interviews, nothing. I was unsure of what to do next. And I was convinced by my advisors at my current university that a master's degree would be like a no matter what acceptance to PT school. Because it was like showing that you can like do this higher level education and like it would really stand out to PT programs, which it really does. And most schools really don't care that I have a master's degree from my experience. But that's a whole another complete story. And it didn't put me into any debt, which was also a reason I didn't do it. I went to go get my master's degree. And even when I was doing there, like I was kind of like, people were like, you should look into other things too. And I was like, I don't like, no, I'm going to do physical therapy still. And so then with that, because I knew, I'm like, okay, I knew I'm going to apply to PT school again. I'm not going to apply a third time. Like I'm going to apply and get in the second cycle because I don't want to waste more money and I don't want to be back another year again, especially already dealing with being rejected that first time. So having some fear and anxiety, of course, with the fear of getting rejected again. And then also with my GRE mainly, that was like the main part of my application that gave me a lot of fear. Just because that's something like the standardized exams have always been something I struggled with. And it took me 5 times to hit a minimum GRE score, which was super stressful, but then a really big relief. So yeah, I would say like those were the main things, like the GRE and then having like that fear and anxiety of getting rejected again and having like PTSD from that this entire current cycle. Like
That's real.
especially when you see all your friends getting into programs like super early and like you're still not hearing anything back. So yeah.
How many of y'all watching are in that position right now? Just kind of feeling like everything's in limbo, whether that's like waiting for school, whether that's being on a wait list, whether that's your friends getting in, which, well, you know, obviously we teach not to compare, right? But we're also humans. So when we're in our most like nervous state, we tend to gravitate towards that, which is not healthy at all. Yes. But it's real. Like this is stuff that like Gail experienced, like a lot of students experience. But Gail, so like let me actually dive in a little bit on that before I go to my next question. I guess this is another question. But like how did you handle it? So before you even looked for a non-traditional route, which we'll dive into next, like how did you handle that? Like having that added pressure, whether it's from family, obviously your own personal doubts as well. Like how did you handle all of that? Like info, just people trying to like they were trying to help. Like let's be real. Like in like as far as they knew, they were trying to help. But we both know, and obviously the people listening right now know that it did more harm than help, right? So how did you handle that as it was happening? I'm only asking that because for someone that's currently going through that right now, having a lot of added family pressure, and y'all listen to me when I say this, it's not in your best interest to listen to someone who has never been where you're trying to go. It is not. Like, I do not care if it's an advisor. I don't care if it's a parent. Like, y'all, like, I'm not saying don't love them. I'm just saying it just doesn't even make sense. Like, if I don't know how to bowl, I have no business showing somebody how to bowl, right? So for you like, but you trusted those people. This is family. This is people that you know. So how did you handle all of that at once to like keep yourself pushing?
So when it came to family, I kind of just like, I mean, I'm 25 years old, so I've been with them my entire life. I've kind of learned like what I should take in and what I should just dump out the other ear. So it was kind of that, because like neither of them, like none of them has ever gone through the process. They've never applied to like graduate level things. Like, yeah, my dad was in the Navy, so there was things in that, but it's still like on a completely different level. So that just kind of learning like what advice I should take and like take with me forward, and what advice I should be like respectfully say okay and nod to the conversation, and then when I go home completely forget about what they say, and go to like someone who's actually been through the process. Because, and even like with all my advisors too, none of them have been to PT school. Yeah, we have a PT program like attached like with my university that I have my bachelor's and master's degree in, so I guess like they have some knowledge from that, but neither of them have ever, none of them apply to PT school. They don't go over there and interact with the physical therapist or anything. And so like again, like just like respectfully nodding and like engaging in the conversation, and then just kind of dumping it out when I walk out the door, which is like, I mean, it kind of sucks to say that, but like Joseph just said, if they haven't been through the process, then why are you going to take advice from them on like something that you're going, like when it comes to applications and stuff?
Yep. All right, let's go to the next question. Like, so now you've obviously started to say, okay, I'm going to dump some of the info they're giving me. I'm going to figure out how to filter it. But you still were looking for help, because you were like, you just said it. You just said, hey, I was not planning on applying for a third cycle. It just was not in my plans, right? Like, I wanted physical therapy, but I wanted to make sure that my next go round was it, right? So for you, what led you to look for a non-traditional approach that was different from, like, because most students are looking at the basics. They're like, okay, let me just retake my classes. Let me just do this. Let me just do this. Let me just do what my advisor just told me to do, which is what everybody is doing in the country, right? Which doesn't make sense if you're trying to stand out. Anyway, so what led you to search for a non-traditional route, which for you was the accepted system?
Yeah. So like after being rejected, I did like reach out to some of the schools and ask them what I should approve on. And of course, every single one said retake classes and retake the GRE, which they tell every single student. So how that's actually going to help, I don't know. One of them did actually tell me to get some volunteer hours. That was the only thing different I've ever heard. It's like, okay, took that kind of with a grain of salt, maybe besides like the GRE one. I'm like, that's something I could actually do. And then I think I was like on Facebook, probably Facebook, and like I was like in the like pre-docs page, like looking through stuff, and then like I saw that you guys were having an upcoming webinar, and like whatever the title was, like get accepted at a PT school with low GPA, GRE, something else maybe. And I was like, okay, like my GRE is low, like let me sign up for this. And so I signed up for it. I watched the entire webinar, and I decided to sign up just mainly like one, like the success stories, and just having someone to coach you and help you along the way who has been through the process. Like every single coach in the accepted system is in physical therapy school or was about to start physical therapy school. And having like real advice from someone who knew exactly what they were talking about. And then it was just something like, it was a very like sporadic thing. Like I didn't really think about it. I was just like, I'm signing up for this, and like I hit the button and I paid, and I was like, I'm getting into PT school. This stuff is going to help me. And it has in so many ways.
Dang, you just decided just like that, huh?
Yeah, I waited for other people to buy it, because I remember like, because I was sitting there, I'm like, well, it's kind of a lot of money, but I'm like, oh, well, I can pay for it monthly. It's not that much if you pay for a monthly. Then like I saw one person buy it, then two, and then like maybe five. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this too.
It's crazy what momentum can do.
Yeah.
How now let's dive back to your like the struggles that you had, because you had been rejected. For those of y'all that are joining us right now, Gail is one of our accepted system winners. She has recently been accepted into PT school, and she'll tell you a little bit about that in just a second. But what this is just her story and really how she did it. Now, for you, Gail, you had been rejected into 15 plus schools. You had had a lot of that familial, like, pressure and schools telling you the same cookie cutter information that they tell everybody else. And you were pretty much at this point where you're like, okay, now I know I'm getting in, not because anyone, like mainly because I'm going to do whatever it is I have to do now. And I have a new path. There's this program I'm a part of, blah, 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 blah. But now for you specifically, how did the accepted system help you with your real problems? Like the things that were holding you back from the previous cycle, how did it help you with your problems? How did it help you solve them?
So definitely like with my biggest problem being the GRE, like there was like obviously like there's some GRE videos in the program that helped, but also just like having people behind your back who like understood retaking the GRE more than once, and like being able to like be my support system, and like being able to like motivate and help inspire me, and like be able to talk to me when I was down about that, because it's hard. I mean, like I'm not super happy that I had to take my GRE 5 times, but at the end of the day, like I had to take my GRE 5 times. And so like I definitely like kept it to myself. Like I didn't tell people like I had to retake my GRE. They're like, "Oh, how did you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I did fine." But having like that support system of the acceptance system, like I was able to kind of open up about that more and actually get to the root of my problem of why I was failing the GRE so many times. So like that definitely helped a lot, because I had people who actually understood, because they're definitely like, if I told someone that who wasn't going through the process, they would have been like, "Why are you so doing this then if you can't take this simple test?" And that was like a fear of mine too, because you think like this GRE standardized test is something easy that can be done, but there's people who struggle with it. And then like I know I've had the thoughts where, especially after the 4th time when I failed the GRE again, I was like, do I even deserve to be a physical therapist? Like, can I do this if I can't take this stupid test? And I had like a lot of anger and anxiety and like sadness because of that. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have been able to take the GRE the 5th time and get those minimum scores if it wasn't without you guys. Because like you guys are truly the ones who helped me figure out like the root of my problem, which for between the 4th and the 5th time, it was I overstudied way too much. So it definitely helped me with that. And then also just like writing isn't my favorite thing either. And like having to write so many essays for the schools applying the cycle, like just having someone to look over that and help me with that, because I feel like I can't type, like I know what I'm thinking, but I can never actually type out my words the way I want them to. So that was helpful for this application cycle. And then just interview prep, because I had interviews this cycle, and that is super nerve-wracking, which is completely normal, but having people to prepare with that and like giving like real advice from their experience having interviews.
First of all, I'm proud of you for being so resilient and just being willing to just like keep pushing. But I want us to go to a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know exactly what I'm going to talk about. I want us to go to a few weeks ago, and then I do want us to dive into the day that you found out that you got your acceptances and what that looked like before we wrap it up. But I want to go back to a few weeks ago, because there's still, like, throughout this process, there's still been this lingering fear that what happened before was gonna happen again.
Definitely.
Now, for those of y'all watching live, like, how many of you have ever had that fear? Say me below. The fear that what happened before, if you're applying again, or if you're retaking the GRE again, like the fear that what happened before is just like, it's just bound to happen again. And the honest truth is, Gail, you were not immune to that.
Mm-hmm.
You were not. So Gail and I had a conversation recently, and Gail was kind of like, it was the waiting game, and just like feeling like it was taking a lot longer than you thought it was going to, right? It's like, Joseph, like, how do I figure this out? And it was starting to kind of get in your head, like, and I had to talk you down a little bit. But tell us a little bit about that and what was going on in your head, what you've done over the last few weeks to kind of clear your head, and then transition. Like, I'll let you go off about the day you finally got accepted into 1+1 schools, 2 schools, right? Like, tell us about that. But let's go to just a few weeks ago, because I don't want people to feel like, oh well, I'm immune to that. No, like, y'all, you're a human being, and Gail was not immune to it. And so tell us about what was going through your head, and then what you did to kind of clear your head and lock yourself in, and then let's go to the day you got accepted.
Yeah, so definitely, I want to say like definitely like early January was the worst. Just like seeing all like my friends getting accepted and like getting accepted to multiple schools. Some of them I was like, God, like it's awesome that you're getting accepted to schools, but like just being like so impatient. Honestly, I am an impatient person at times. It happens. Just like checking my email way too often. It just was causing so much anxiety and stress. And then like each day I didn't hear back from a school, like the like PTSD of not getting accepted the last cycle I applied like grew more. And especially when I had I had received one wait list, which like I wasn't like super mad about. I was like, well, like at least I wasn't rejected. Like a wait list still isn't a no, but it's still hard. Like, oh, like why wasn't that an acceptance? Like why? Like, and like it just leads to the next one. Like you're waiting for the next one, and you're just not getting them. And I think at one point I was waitlisted again. But so in order to like kind of take control of that, I also had to change some things in my personal life, because at the same time my personal life was becoming a shit show, honestly. So kind of like one, like trying to like cut out any extra negative and toxins that I was having to help relieve some stress, and then also talking to you and trying to like rewire my brain almost with the book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. That of course where it helps.
It's a good book, y'all. All right, go on.
And learning how to like when you start having those negative thoughts and like thinking and like the PTSD and like the anxiety, the stress, the fear, trying to rewire that and change it into something positive. Because even though like it's February now, I got my acceptance in January, like that still felt like a long time, when really it's a normal time for people to start hearing back from schools and realizing that. And then of course, like each day, like I would wake up or like at some point in the day, like thinking about of getting my acceptance letter, and what that would feel like, to try and like put the energy out there, like the law of attraction, and just like do controlling what I can control, like really trying that like to just focus on that. And like obviously all those things were hard. Like there were some days I was super good at it and some days where it was horrible. And especially when like, and I noticed too, like the days where I had more stress and anxiety and fear of not being accepted to PT school were also the days where the stuff going on in my personal life was super crappy. And like that affected me more. Cause like it's all kind of like, even though like it's in separate parts of like who you are as a person and like what goes on today, it still like kind of rolls over into the other thing to create more anxiety and more fear. So it's just trying to like separate them, and like focus on like the good and the positive, which like there were some bad days. Like there was a day I literally came into the gym and I didn't want to talk to anyone. I purposely had my glasses on so no one would look at me, and someone like came up to me and said hi, and I just bursted into tears and crying. I'm like, leave me alone, I don't want to talk to anyone. But then of course like that person calmed me down, like they were one of my coaches. And it's real. Like I'm a super emotional person. I have a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of fear of things. So learning to control them was hard, but at the end of the day, like it's definitely made things better each day.
Mm, mm-mm. I'm so proud of you, Gail. I'm so freaking proud of you. I am, because it's hard. It's hard. Like for those of y'all that are currently waiting, for those of you that are like, it's exhausting. But you guys have to realize that we make it worse for ourselves when we just start assuming the worst. and it
Mm-hmm.
starts draining us and it affects how we feel. Shoot, I have students tell me like, yo, like I've been sick like 3 times in the last 5 months. I'm like, why? Like they've just been like, your body responds to that. So learning how to do that was amazing for you. And for a lot of you that are listening, like, I would invest time in figuring out how to control the narrative that you're creating in your mind. Like please invest time into that, because y'all, this is going to be a lot more stressful if you don't know how to do that. But Gail, tell us about the day you got accepted into PT school, because I want people to see the contrast. For those of y'all that are joining us right now, what's up, Zacchaeus? What's up, Kayla? How you all doing? Like, I want them to see the contrast, because you went from like being rejected to 15 plus schools. Now tell us about the day you got accepted, because most people that would have gotten rejected into that many schools would have pulled the plug, which is why this is so important, right? So for you, what did that day look like? And then tell us how many acceptances you got.
Yeah. Well, so first, before I go into that, just because you said something and I just wanted to elaborate on it. So I'm like, when you say like the body reacts to like kind of how your mind is thinking is like 100% right, because like I had all the stress and stuff building up, and I do like the Olympic weightlifting, so I did have a meet which had some stuff to do with it. But like once that meet was done and like having more anxiety and stress, my body was literally in so much pain. It was so like my muscles were so tight and tense from all the stress and anxiety of like not being accepted to PT school and like some other things too, that like it was hard for me to move for an entire week, which is horrible because like I do a weightlifting and I have a program I need to follow. But yeah, whatever you're thinking in your mind, your body definitely reacts to it. And I 100% understand if anyone is going through that, whether it's like you being super sick or just like whatever. But yeah, and then so acceptances. It was like I think a week ago today, I was driving to the gym and then I checked my email when I got to the gym, not when I was driving, because I'm super obsessive and I check my email every single chance I get. And I got an email from Northeastern. I'm like, oh cool, did they finally respond to my email? It's been like 7 days, because I was originally waitlisted at this school. And I had asked them like, how does your waitlist work? And I opened it up and I was reading it and I was like, oh shit, like I was accepted to PT school. And so I had walked in the gym and I was like, hey, mother effers, I'm going to be a PT is literally what I said. They're like, what? Where are you going to school? And then, so I was super excited, and like whatever training I had to do, I did not get done. I had too much energy from that and being accepted to PT school.
Girl, you on cloud nine.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to warm up and focus, but I'm being super ADD and can't, because I'm like, I'm finally going to be a physical therapist. And then like I look at my email again for some reason, I don't know why, because I'm super obsessive with it. And I was like, oh hey guys, I just got accepted to another school too. So yeah, 2 schools in one day, and I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. And like I had a group message going on like with my family, and I told them, I was like, oh, hey, I got into like Northeastern in Boston and I'm super excited. And then I was like, oh, hey, here's number 2. But yeah, it was just like, I was on cloud 9. I don't even think I got anything done at the gym. I wasn't useful at all. I just like sat there and was too excited. But yeah, I mean, going from like the first cycle I applied and applying to like more than 15 schools and not even getting a single interview or not a single wait list, to like getting accepted to 2 schools in one day, and especially getting accepted to a school that doesn't do interviews, it makes you feel slightly better. Like, yeah, like I look that good on paper. They don't even know me and they want me. And like getting
you don't even know
school,
how next level you really are, girl.
No, they have no idea. They're gonna see my names in newspapers in like, I don't even know how many years. I'll say 10 years, because PT school was like 3 years.
Yeah, make it 5.
But 5.
Make it 5. Girl, you already know I'm gonna push it. But y'all, I want y'all to can we give her some love, y'all? Can we show her some love in the comments real quick? Y'all, listen. Man, like I was so hyped. Like I was losing my mind when I saw the messages coming in. Like she was like, I got accepted. I didn't even see the first message at first. I saw the second one. She said another one. I was like, what do you mean another one? I scrolled up. I was like, yo, y'all, listen. If you are currently in a position right now where you're feeling like, yo, this is not going to happen, listen, like, it doesn't matter how many schools you've been rejected from. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter what your current GPA is. It doesn't matter what your anxiety level is, y'all. Like, somebody else has already gone through everything you feel is literally like the end of the world for you. Like, somebody else has already gone through it, and they're in a program right now, or two. Gail actually has an interview tomorrow, so she might be in 3. Like, we don't even know. But the biggest thing is you'll never find out, one, if you stop. So please don't pull the plug. But number 2, you can't do it by just shooting in the dark, y'all. Like, if Gail had gone through this cycle like she did the first time, Gail, what would it have been like?
If I had gone through the cycle just like the first one?
Yeah, if you just said, let's just do what we did before, what would have happened?
Probably nothing, I would say. Maybe an interview. Probably nothing.
She don't even know. But the biggest thing is you have to decide which path you want to take, y'all. You have to decide, y'all. So for those of y'all that are watching, before Gail gives y'all her final piece of advice, Casey, if you can comment this below, man. I want, like, if y'all want to learn, like, how did Gail figure this thing out? After getting rejected to 15 schools, like, how did she figure it out? Like, if y'all want to learn more about that, go to www.acceptancenavigator.com. Casey and I literally, like, we were in a hotel room. We sat down, did a full 4-part training for y'all if you're serious about it. And if you're not, well, okay, cool. Like, do your thing. Do your thing. But if you're serious and you're like, I want to figure this thing out. Like, I'm tired of feeling this level of anxiety. I'm tired of letting what's going on with my family, what they're telling me. I'm tired of letting that dictate my belief in myself. I'm tired of feeling like all I keep getting is the same cookie cutter advice from my advisor or from the programs I've applied to. Like, if you're not, like, if you don't want to settle, y'all, and you want clarity, like, just go watch the training. So go to www.acceptancenavigator.com. Level yourself the frick up, y'all. Level yourself up. But Gail, before we finish up, because I know you've been waiting for this moment, I want you to drop some wisdom for the people listening right now. What is one major piece of advice or wisdom that you would like to shed or pour into the people that are listening to this, either live or on replay or on podcast? Girl, did you know this is about to be a podcast episode? This is going to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yo, you about to be famous. But what is one piece of advice that you would love to give the people tonight?
Oh, just one. Well,
Or
definitely.
more.
I mean, probably more. Jesus, I mean, I guess mainly like kind of what you just like. Don't be cookie cutter. Cookie cutter is basic. Like, we're all different. We all have different experiences, and like let that shine. Because I mean, I don't want to go into a rant right now. Like,
go into a rant, girl. Girl, go into a rant. Listen, if they don't like the rant, it's up to shoot. If they know what's best for them, they're gonna stay. So
yeah, I mean, if you're being cookie cutter and you're being basic and you're just like every other pre-PT, like you're not going to get into PT school, or you're going to get into the wrong schools that aren't a good fit. Like, I was thinking of this the other day, like, it'd be awesome to get into every single physical therapy school you apply to, but like, if you have so many interviews and like you're truly being yourself, like there may be some schools that don't really like your personality. It may not exactly be a good fit for you, and like whether you realize that or the school realizes that. But like, if you're going in there and being like acting like how you think you're supposed to act and being like a pre-PT robot, then like you're not perfect. Like, you can't get into every single physical therapy school, which is fine, and like that's why you should do the research and figure out which school truly is a good fit for you, which sometimes you don't, like, you may not notice that till you have an interview with them, but that's perfectly fine. Like, that's what interviews are also for. So definitely like just being yourself and like letting yourself free, and like being like, whether you're super openly and bubbly and or you're slightly more reserved, like that's totally fine, but just like letting your true personality shine through. Because I feel like now, like going through the acceptance system and like growing as an applicant and also growing as a person and doing more personal development, I have a better idea of who I actually am as a person than when I applied the first cycle. So I feel like if I did have interviews those first cycle, I would have botched them, or I would have like pretended to be someone who I'm not. And like just unknowingly, because like I feel like there's a big idea out there of like, this is what a pre-PT is and this is how you should be. When like that's false. Like just throw that away. Like like throw that stuff in the trash can. Like be yourself, be who you are. Like I have some super crazy ideas as a physical therapist. So some people just like look at me and they're like, what? But I don't care. Like I like don't really care what other people think. Obviously, like I'm always going to be respectful, but like not everyone can agree with me. I can't agree with everyone else. Just be a respectful adult and communicate. But just don't let that, just be yourself and shine through that way.
Gail, if you want to keep ranting, I'll let you. Like, here's the thing. Like, y'all, I hope you heard her. Whoever's live right now, I need you to comment the words that I'm about to say. Because I can say them, but they won't sink in. So for those of y'all that are live right now, please comment the words I'm about to say. I am not a match for every school. I need y'all to write this down. Like, it's not for me to know. It's not for Gail to know. She's already in 2 schools. She's about to be in her 3rd school in like a week. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but for those of y'all watching right now, I need you to write this down because this is major. This is major. I am not a match for every school. You're not. Don't let nobody lie. Do not let anybody lie to you about that. Like if I don't expect to be a match for every single woman that just be rolling out here, then I can't be like y'all. Like I'm married to my wife because she's my match for life, right? Like if I just said, hey, you're just one of the many I could have chosen from, well, chances are I'm not gonna stay married long. You applying to a program is just like that. We have this very twisted, off mindset that, oh, well, like if I apply to schools, if I apply to a lot of them, no, like there are schools you can get accepted into that you won't actually like. Like now let's talk about it. Like I'll get messages from students that are like, hey, I got accepted to this program. I just started. I had no idea that this was what it had to offer. Like I don't feel like I can continue here. Now, for those of y'all that have not gotten into PT school, you're like, how ungrateful, no. Like, it's like anything. It's like any relationship. It's like anyone that you love. Like, y'all, you're not a match for every school. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing if you understand how to leverage it. But if we're spending a lot of time saying, I'm just going to retake all the classes I can retake. And y'all, retaking classes is not bad. Like retaking the GRE is not bad. Those are just the basics. But if we're staying basic and we're saying, yo, I'll just, and now I'll just apply to more, or I'll just apply to the 5 schools that are in, within 5 miles, and then we'll just see what happens. Like if that's how you're doing it, then we can't be surprised when things don't go our way. We can't. We can't. Like as a pre-PT, if y'all want to give yourselves a shot to go from 15 schools, no interviews, none. Like she didn't even have a shot to speak for herself. No interviews. 15 schools. Like, how much money is that, yo? Like
I don't. I 100% spent over $1,000. 100%. And like with that, taking the GRE too, no, yeah, so much money. I don't want to think about that. Let's not bring that up.
No, Gail's about to get mad at me now, y'all. Like, understand. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. If you're listening to this right now, you're like, hey, I'm just gonna like apply again. I believe, y'all, believing in yourself is great. Please do. I love confidence. I love building it. I love personal development. But please do not fool yourself. Do not fool yourself. Please, like, be clear on what you're doing. Be clear on the schools you're applying to. Make sure they're a match for you. Make sure that the actions you're taking set you up to become a match for them. If you're not doing that, you're doing it the old school way, which doesn't work anymore.
Mm-mm.
And that's the cookie cutter way that we're being told by schools that we've applied to that have rejected us or put us on the wait list. Advisors who say, I've been advising for 10 years, 20 years. Well, the honest truth is, if you're advising the way you advised 20 years ago, well, there's no shot in hell that I'm getting into PT school.
Yeah.
Can I? Hey, listen, hey, it's our platform. I can say whatever I want, but I'm just being real. I'm just being so real. So if y'all are serious and you're like, yo, I'm ready to level myself up. I'm tired of having to cross my fingers and hope for the best. Yo, go watch the Navigator series. Go to www. Casey already put it in there. www.acceptancenavigator.com. It's a free training. Go watch it. Go watch it. Get some clarity. Get some direction, and then let's level you up. But Gail, I appreciate you saying that, girl. Mm-hmm. I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate you like taking your time this evening to serve the people. Can we all say thank you to Gail for spending some time serving us this evening? That's it. How was that?
That was great.
That feel pretty good to serve these beautiful human beings that are striving for physical therapy.
100%. And definitely like something else, like and it goes along with like being yourself too. Like definitely like your experiences and your things that aren't your GPA, GRE, and even like, well, mostly just GPA and GRE, like your experiences play a huge role too. And so definitely don't be afraid to go out there and like get new and different experiences, because there's always something that you can learn from them that transfers into physical therapy, or even just working with other people in general, because as a physical therapist, you're always working with someone else. And I think that's one thing that personally helped me with my applications. Like I was super fearless when it came to like going out there and like getting experiences and like having these opportunities come my way, because I was going out there and like looking for them and putting in the work. So yeah, definitely let your experiences in your life shine through, because you are more than just numbers on a piece of paper. And like that can help you into your essays if you're applying this upcoming cycle. And like even like with letter recommendations too. So definitely be more than your GPA and GRE. And then someone did ask about the GRE. I can link my GRE video below, Brandon. And then is the GRE code only available for accepted system, or is that?
No, it's not. So Brandon, okay. Send me a message, watch Gail's video, and then send me a message and we'll help you out. That's it. That's
awesome.
Y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed, y'all. This was a good one. This was fun. We went a long time because Gail and I have been waiting for this live stream. So we were going to take our good time and we weren't going to shortcut anything. But I hope y'all were inspired. I hope y'all have been given a new light to keep pushing and to know what you should be doing next if y'all want to give yourselves a shot. But y'all, this is an amazing profession. I'm so proud of every single one of you for continuing to pursue it. Let's get it. Much love to y'all. Have a good rest of your evening. Goodbye, people.
Bye.